Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Keys to AWS Optimization, where today we're going to be looking at the new features of AWS billing views along with billing transfer. We're going to be doing a deep dive into these two services, and I've got two lovely guests, starting off with Eric with me today. As always, throughout the show, please feel free to put comments, questions, wherever you are watching, whether that is live or if you're watching us on demand, then drop a comment or question below and we will make sure to get back to you. But let's kick off with some intros. My name is Steph Gooch. I'm a senior SA advocate at AWS. And joining me is Eric. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Eric Nestorovic. I'm a senior product manager at AWS. I'm in the billing cost management space. I spent a couple years in EC2. Now I've been focusing more on billing cost management, and more specifically, I've been working on really how do we get the right permissions, like make sure we have the right permissions around billing and cost management data, and making sure that the right people within your org have access to the right data, if you will. So.
That's so cool. I didn't realize that you were in EC2 before you came over to the
Yeah, it's been a
holidays.
couple years there.
Interesting. Excellent. Well, let's kind of dive into it. So we're going to be talking first of all about billing views. If you haven't checked out this feature, where have you been? It's an amazing way for you to be able to see different pockets of spend. And we're going to be doing a demo for each of these later. But kicking straight into it, Eric, why don't you just give us an overview of what are billing views?
Yeah, so taking a step back, we launched the first feature. It's called Billing View. Well, custom Billing View is really what we're focusing more on today. But Billing Views are really just an AWS resource that lets you control who has permission to access what billing and cost management data using the AWS tools, the AWS console, Cost Explorer, etc. What we previously launched and came on the show about a year ago was to really show how we could do custom billing views to give a member account access to cost management data spanning multiple member accounts. So previously, if you were in an organization, really like the payer account had access to all of the billing cost management data of many linked accounts, but a single linked account couldn't see cost management data spanning multiple accounts. So what Billing View does is it lets the payer account create like scoped access, if you will. So say this view should contain these 10 accounts, and then that resource can then be shared with another account in your org to give that account permission to access the billing and cost management data for all of those 10 accounts.
Yeah, what I think is it's so simple. That's one of the best things about it. It feels like such a simple concept, like, oh, we're going to allow other people to have access. But speaking, and we did a long deep dive about this, and here's a link to the other episode, which will give you more of the basics of this service. But as an advertisement for doing it, as a customer, I had those issues where teams weren't allowed to see into that main account because it was, that is our central account. We're not letting everybody in there. We don't want him to see other people's data. Now you can give people those reports and allow them to really see their costs. And as we know as FinOps practitioners, seeing your spend is a crucial foundational element to it. So with that, what has been released at reInvent? It feels like I love how I'm still doing reInvent. Like this whole first quarter we're doing reInvent bits, and I was like, it's so long ago. I've been on holiday. Like I've been in Thailand for 2 weeks. Is where I've been, if anyone's wondering. But what was released at reInvent?
Yeah, so we launched a couple of new features that we're really excited about. So really it's at the end of the day, what we launch is to let users look at billing and cost management data spanning multiple organizations or multiple payer accounts from a single pane of glass. So to achieve that, what we launch is two independent features. One is allowing, before you could only share a billing view with a member account within your own organization. Now we've taken down that barrier and you can actually share a billing view from one payer to another. So now you can give another payer account visibility into another organization's billing and cost management data.
Wow. I mean,
and then
pausing there. That is, again, that seems, some people who are smaller companies might be like, why do you need to do that? But as a lot of companies grow, and I remember we had a few different payers pop up in different orgs, and you want to be able to add these together if you're grouping lots of different companies together. It's a very cool, powerful feature that I know is very heavily asked for a bunch of customers, right?
Right. Just even like many of our larger customers do have to handle many organizations for variety of reasons, or even we've heard of customers that want to work with an external consultant but don't want to give them access to their full console. They can just share a view with an external consultant's account, give them permission to dive into their billing cost management data and help them with their FinOps practices as well. So it removes the dependency of having someone log into your central account, which we always say you should try to protect. So
yeah, and when we talk about billing transfer, we'll talk a little bit about some of these kind of elements of, we want to, as we say in our documentation, we want to hold that central account securely, and this will at least give some other visibility. Okay, so
exactly.
feature one, sharing outside.
Now you can share from account A to account B if you will. Now the second feature is, if you will, is that second account can now actually combine multiple billing views into one single meta billing view, if you will. So for example, if I own account A and account B, I can first share account A's data with account B. So now it's outside of the org. But not only that, now from account B, I can say, create one new billing view that is a combination of these two's data. So now I can really see all of my spend at AWS across as many orgs as I own from a single pane of glass using native billing and cost management tools.
And that would work both inside a single organization, which you could kind of do anyway. You could combine these things.
Correct.
But I get, but
you
but
could,
mainly,
yeah. But really it's either a subset of the whole payer, or you can combine two subsets into another superset, if you will. But really, the power here is in treating, like really breaking down that organization barrier, if you will, for billing and cost management data, and treating multiple data sets as really just like one giant pool of data, so that you can do your FinOps practices across a broad set of payer accounts and organizations.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, this in itself, I think, if you're, again, one of those big organizations, well, actually, we had a question I just saw just come in. Do you have an example of when, I'm assuming, this feature would be used? So yeah, is there, I guess, any kind of customers, or like, if we think of it, what would be a good example, of when people would want this?
Yeah, so a good example is like, the reality is that some of the larger customers, like for example, if so sometimes a bigger company acquires another, and they already had an AWS footprint, and they already had their own payer account, their own organization, but as the acquirer, as a company that I actually purchased another company, and they already had their AWS footprint, I want to see, as a central FinOps team, as a central cloud center of excellence, I want to see the whole thing as one. It doesn't really matter to me too much that it's one payer or another. At the end of the day, I want to see the whole pie as one. So there's many reasons, but that's one of them why customers sometimes end up managing multiple organizations on AWS. And this really allows centralizing those FinOps practices, even if your architecture on AWS, your footprint encompasses many organizations or many payer accounts.
Excellent. So if you are part of an organization where you're having to jump into different accounts to see all of your billing, or I guess I know people solve this problem, especially with care data, by bringing it all together. I know the Kudos, we've set this up as a feature where you can export and replicate all of your data from S3 into another bucket. But the good thing about this is it's in Cost Explorer, which I think is such a big selling point for quick reports. We're not talking about in-depth data analysis. We're just especially doing that. A question. If you have a billing view set up for multi-org, will your Amazon queue, and this might be a feature, I guess, will Amazon queue be able to read all of the billing view? I don't know if you know, in the console.
Not right now. For right now, it's
not
limited
right
to yeah. So we've heard that feedback from customers is something it's on our radar. But we are working right now. It's the billing view. So Cost Explorer, dashboards, and the third feature I was going to mention before, which is budgets, is the other tool within billing and cost management that is now supported with custom billing views. So you can use Cost Explorer as well as reports and budgets with the billing views, and you can also do forecasts with Cost Explorer using a billing view.
Nice. So if you're thinking, I would like Amazon Q to be able to speak to this billing view, you got to drop me an email with your feedback, and I'll pass that along to Eric at costoptimization@amazon.com. Send me any of your feedback for services. I love to get it, or feedback about the show, or just say hi. Excellent. So the third, so we have number one, which is being able to do the sharing. Number two is being able to combine these into one. And the third one, budgets, which I remember being a hot topic, I think the last time we even spoke about this. So this feature, simple as it sounds, but you can now connect budgets to billing views, correct?
Right. So that means that means two things, right? So that means you can both create a budget that's scoped to a business unit within a single organization environment. Like if this team owns these 4 accounts, you can from a member account, you can create a budget that spans those 4 accounts. But also now with the multi-payer feature, the multi-org world, you can also create a budget against that tracks your entire AWS footprint across many payers.
Yeah, and the little nugget of from a member account means that, again, we're giving the power to people. So if you own those multiple accounts and you want to be able to do it, you don't want to have to bother someone who's a central team to make a budget. Or you don't want to have 4 different budgets for those accounts. Or if you scale that to 40 accounts, which I know some organizations will have for one department, you can do it all under one, which is so powerful and so exciting. Brilliant. And so we've talked a little bit about some of this stuff, but the reasons, so a big thing, like who it's for, and I think, is this mainly for like FinOps practitioners and things like that? Is that who the target audience of this kind of service is?
So I would say so, especially the primary person we're focusing on is really, it is for the FinOps practitioner. So with custom billing views, they'll have the ability to, again, either decentralized billing cost management, so really give permission to the end users and the owners of the cost usage data and the engineering team so they can optimize. But B, again, the FinOps practitioner can now look at and many organizations from a single pane of glass using Cost Explorer, as you were saying. So from there, we think that the FinOps practitioners and the central teams who no longer have to log into many accounts to look at this data can now centrally do it from a single place. We think that they're really the ones that are benefit the most from this feature.
Brilliant. And while we're asking, folks, drop me a message either in the chat if you're watching, or if you're watching live or on demand, drop it in the comments below. Tell me, what's your role title? I want to know, are there many FinOps practitioners watching? Do we have any other personas? Let us know in that. Brilliant. So anything else you want to cover, Eric, before we dive into a demo?
I think just jump into a demo. That's the best way to see how this works.
Excellent. All right, let's bring up your screen.
Perfect. Okay, so just to center everyone here, I'm currently logged into, I'm going to be logging into 2 payer accounts and going through the setup that we talked about earlier, where you share a view outside of the account and then create a combined one. So right now, if you see, we're logged into this account ending in 4321. So this is the first payer account. So if you want to create, the first thing we want to do is create a custom billing view that has all of this organization's data in a single resource. So to achieve that, we navigate to, in the left nav, cost management preferences, and then click on the billing view tab. And from here, you can manage your billing views. So the first step would be to just create a new view from this account, which is really what it's going to say is include all of the cost and usage data from this account in a single resource. To do that, once you first create view, and then you'll see that first you have the option to filter by different dimensions. So you can either select, say, this billing view should include cost and usage data for these 2 accounts only. Or you could say only include data that matches this cost category key and value pair. Or again, same with cost allocation tags. In this case, since we just want to share our entire org, we can just select no filter or all data, which means it's going to just include an unfiltered entire copy of everything that I can see in Cost Explorer.
Everything.
Whoever has this can see this in Cost Explorer as well. Let's create this as, this is 4321. Today is 219. Let's use this.
Oh, I love the official title of your demo. Like, I'm just like, demo. It never has a good title.
Once you've done this enough, you start losing track. I want something I can copy and paste easily in a second. So, so let's just go ahead and create it. You'll see that now this has been created. If you go into configuration details, it tells you what's in this view. So it says has one source of data, which is your own primary. So the primary view is a concept that we've introduced, which is really the primary billing view represents all of the billing and cost management data that is owned by your account. So in this case, we said the source of this demo 4321 will be data that comes from my own account. And that's what we're saying that's what's being shown here. You don't have to set it, it just gets set up by default, but that's what shows up here. And then the bottom, you'll see that it does have no filter, all data is included, so this view has everything. So now the next step, what I want to do is, now I need to give another account permission to access this billing view. So let's go ahead and share it with an account that is another organization. So you'll click on share. And first you'll see it has two options. You can either share within your organization, which is what we had before. So this is what we had launched before, and you can just share with a member account in your org. And what we've introduced is share with any account. What this does is lets you share with any account on AWS. So then the next step would be you want to set what permissions you want to share this resource with. So before we only had this one default permission billing view. What this has is the IAM permissions that says the recipient of this resource will be able to use this in Cost Explorer or create a budget. However, what we've introduced is a second permission, which is billing view full access, which we want to select in this case. What that means is it gives an additional set of permissions to the recipient of this view. It says that the recipient also has permission to use this as a source for another view, if you will. It says this should be combinable. This should be whoever I'm giving this to, they have permission to create another view. So it is a highly permissive permission for the specific resource that I'm giving the recipient. So it's definitely the idea is that it's a conscious. I'm giving you explicit permission to create another view that I know you could then share with someone else. So I'm already giving up a bit of control of that data. But usually the same FinOps persona is has access to all the organizations. They can just give themselves permission. So in this case, let's say I want to share it with another organization. So let me grab my account ID where I'm sharing. And let's say I want to share it with the other account, which ends in 1234. I go ahead and hit share. Now, this is async, so one quick refresh. And you'll see sharing status. It's been shared. So now you'll see that it's been, so this will show you two sections. One is within your organization, if it's been shared with anyone, and then outside, if it's shared with anyone. So you'll see outside it has this account ID, but it says associating. That's because whenever you share something outside of the org, the recipient has to say, yes, I do accept that resource. So let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I guess we'll have to do that. And while you're doing that, I got a couple of questions and a couple of shout outs for people. I think that's Ken. Hi, Kenneth, who is my co-speaker at re:Event, if that's him. Someone said Steph Howard's Thailand, amazing, highly recommend going. Also, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining us today. And hi from Canada. I love hearing people from all over the world. And a question for you, Eric. Could these views include output from tools like Cost Optimization Hub in the future?
So it certainly could. That's another one similar to Q that I think it's something that we've heard customers that are adopting these features that they're interested in more tool support. We know it's limited to Cost Explorer, budgets, dashboards, but we want to hear where else you want this supported. So
yeah, and don't forget the power of providing feedback, folks, because this team, as you know, will put out a lot of features in a year, and it all comes from your feedback. So use that email address to get in contact. Thank you for the questions, comments. Keep them coming. Drop any questions you have about any FinOps related things in the comments below as we keep going. Okay, so you've just shared it with them and accepted?
Or I have not accepted yet. We're accepted it right now. So now I've just logged into the other account. So 1234 instead of 4321. So we're in a different payer. And you'll see that if you go to billing view, there's this alert saying you have one pending billing view invitation. So if you scroll down, you'll see account 4321 shared this resource ARN with us. So let's go ahead and click here. Accept the invitation. And if you see in billing view now, we have that came, here we go, demo 4321219. So here we have the first feature, which is now this account has received the billing view from the other org. So we can just see it in action real quick. If you go to Cost Explorer, so by default right now, I'm just looking at my own org. You can group by, if you can see, all of this data belongs to account 1234. So now if I go to billing view and I select the one that was just shared with me, as you can see, it has all data from the other account that we're just logged into. So now this payer
Awesome.
is looking at the other's data. Still not combined,
Yeah.
but it's looking, now it has, okay, now I have permission to look at both. So let's take
Yeah.
it a step
Now it's
further
not.
and do that single pane of glass.
Yeah, now it's not jumping around. And as a reminder, if you've joined us kind of partway through, if you want to see all the fundamentals of building up this solution, then grab that YouTube link to get it.
Awesome. So now from this account, now that this account has permission to access both my own data and the data that was shared with me, I can go ahead and create a multi-source view. So this is going to say aggregate multiple sources into a single billing view. So we click on this. You'll see I have the option to select many sources. I'm going to select the one that we just created, demo 4321, which again is owned by that other account. So we select that, and I want to combine it with my primary view, which again is my own payer account, all of my data. So I select that. Click next. Again, this gives you the option of now of the combined data set, do you want to filter some accounts? As you were saying, if you have a business unit that is actually using resources from two different payers and two accounts, different payers, you could create a view that is scoped to just them, spanning multiple payers.
So this is nice. So because otherwise, I was just thinking you could obviously do like groups of shared billing views. So you could do like application. If there's an application A on both sides, you could do like one for each. But rather than have to do that multiple times, you could do one big billing view of your org, and then on the receiver side, you can still filter. So you have that.
Do some slicing
kind
and
of
dicing. Yeah, it's
control.
like exactly. So the second payer here, here's all my data. You decide how your business
How
units
to
are
do it.
defined, combine them. That's all up to you now, off my plate.
Yeah.
But again, in this case, we're looking to get that FinOps persona central view of both payers. So we'll just, again, going to select no filter, all data. This is just a slight detour. This is another small feature we introduced. Some customers have a need to share data starting from a certain date or up until a certain date. So you can set a share data, include data starting from a certain time period. In this case, we're just going to keep it open. So it's open-ended both on historic and future data. We're just going to call this demo multi-org 219 and go ahead and next. And then here we have the confirmation step. We can just see it has the two sources that we selected. It's going to have no filter and include all the data. Hit create. And now this does take like a few seconds, not a lot, but it'll stay creating for like 20 seconds. I can just explain something else while that changes. So if you go to the configuration details, we can see that it has, again, the two sources, one owned by this account, one owned by 4321, and it has no filter. So now if we could just refresh, there we go. Status switched to healthy. It did a bunch of checks, making sure you have the right permissions to combine all this data. This view is good to go. So now, if you go to Cost Explorer, toggle billing view mode, so you can start switching between different views and change the data that you're using the tools on. And if we find the demo multi-org 219, and we group by payer account, which is, again, also a new small feature.
I was about to say, yeah.
It used to be single payer universe. Now there's a need to actually group by
the
which payer
multiverse
account
of
is
payers.
occurring. Yeah, this example is I have one with a ton of spend, one with negligible spend, but you can still see it's in Cost Explorer. Now I can see data from both payers, and I can now drill down based on cost categories, cost allocation, tag account ID, etc., as I usually do, and do that all spanning multiple payers from a single pane of glass.
Excellent. Whistle stop tour of all of the amazing new features. A couple of questions before we round off and swap to our second guest. Number one, is there a cost for this service?
So there is no cost with actually creating, managing, merging views. Everything we just looked at is free. There is one little caveat with pricing. So as you know, with Cost Explorer API calls, when you call an API, there is, I think it's a cent per API call. There is a charge. So with the pricing, if you're querying using the Cost Explorer API to programmatically query data from a billing view, so basically now in Cost Explorer, you can include a billing view ARN as a parameter. If you include a billing view that spans multiple organizations, the charge is 1 cent per organization in that in that view. So for example, in this example that we just combined two payer accounts into one, if I were to call Cost Explorer API using that billing view ARN as a parameter, the charge would be 2 cents instead of 1 cent, as because you're basically querying two organizations at once, if you will. But everything else, everything in the console, the combination of sources, the sharing cross orgs, that's all for free. You get out of the box with AWS.
I think it's always worth noting with that API. I think I remember, I think I've told the story many times, that when I was a customer, I suddenly saw on the curve that we were spending money on Cost Explorer. And I was like, there's a free service. How? And then I took a lot of Googling to figure out that it was API. And I was like, who's doing API? And one person in a random team have been like, I want to see my cost, so I'm going to do API calls. And I was like, can you not? I have a dashboard. Like, you don't need to, buddy. I already have the curve. Like, it's fine.
If you need it, it's there.
If you need it, it's there, but you have to pay for it. So don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, a couple of questions from people. So can you edit a billing view from the start org? So I think the start organization, and it will end up in the other account. So I guess is that okay?
Yeah. So basically, as the owner of the initial, so just make sure I'm capturing that question correctly. So in this example, we did payer A to payer B. Shared a view, and then payer B combined both of them. You're saying can payer A modify the view that they shared with payer B once it's been shared? The answer is yes. Payer A is like, the way we think of it is payer A is like the owner of that resource. They have full control over who has permission to access what, and that lets them, if they made a mistake, if they need to redefine, change the scope of the data within a billing view, it's something that we believe that the owner of the data and the person who shared it in the first place should retain full control over. So that really lets them have that level of control of make sure that they have a say in who has access to what of their own data. So if you modify it, those changes will be reflected in the recipient account as well as in any view that uses that view as a source.
Okay, brilliant. And so Pete's asking a question, which is, it would be nice if we could filter out data so other accounts don't see it. So I think, Pete, it depends on the scenario, right? So you can control what sends to that second account, but if you're looking at ones in your own org, you can create a billing view that only has that, unless you're trying to filter out billing, like lines of data,
like
maybe,
lines,
which is probably for our next guest is a question for ABC.
Exactly.
So stick around. But any feedback, drop me an email. I think I put it in the chat for cost optimization at Amazon. Finish filtering out lines. Yeah, ABC is going to be the thing where we use that a bit more, if I'm correct, to do that. Yes. All right. Last question before we swap over to our next conversation. So this is because I've titled this badly, but how can billing views contribute to cost optimization?
Right. So with billing views, we really think that it helps cost optimization in two ways. So it's twofold. One is for the example that we're just looking at here today, it really allows getting that macro view of your organization as a central team. As a FinOps practitioner, you can see all of your AWS spend in a single pane of glass. A bit more tactically, the other thing it enables is really giving the engineering managers, the team owners, the business unit owners, giving them access to the billing and cost management data that they actually influence, which typically spans multiple accounts. By getting that data in their hands, they can now see it. And once you can see it, you can optimize. So it really unlocks the decentralization of cost optimization and putting the data in the hands of those who can actually take action to influence it. So the whole idea is to decentralize cost optimization and get the data in the hands of the right people so that they can own their destiny in terms of cost of usage on AWS.
Brilliant. Well answered. So anything else before we swap over to our next guest? Eric?
No, I think that covers everything.
That covers it. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's a good time to talk about how to cover some other types of data as you jump into billing transfer.
Yes. Thank you so much. Feel free to drop any other comments. We will make sure that you find us on social media, find us on LinkedIn, and follow Eric on his LinkedIn profile. But thank you so much, Eric. And we'll be back in 2 seconds. We'll bring on our next guest.
Thank you, Steph.
Hello, Marina. How's it going? Oh, you're on mute, Marina.
All right. Doing great. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I love this segue we kind of had at the last section, at the last question we had, which will hopefully lead us onto this. But guys, keep dropping any questions, comments as we move into our next topic. But let's do a quick 1-minute origin story for yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Marina Vitale. I'm a senior product manager tech at AWS. I've been at AWS for almost 4 years, coming up, and always in the billing and cost management space, looking specifically at simplifying showback, chargeback processes, simplifying our billing experiences for customers that have very complex organizational structures or our partners even. So that's a little bit about me.
Nice. Simplifying is, I think, a golden word when it comes to the world
100%.
that we live in, because a lot of this stuff, if we look historically, I mean, folks know I've been doing this for a long time in the FinOps world. Before we had a lot of things like the cur and the format it was very hard to do a lot of that stuff. And so I'm excited to dive into this. But we're swapping topics now. So we're going to be talking a little bit about billing transfer. So let's just start at the beginning like we do with Eric. What is billing transfer?
Okay, yeah, that starts from the foundation. So billing transfer is essentially a billing delegation mechanism across multiple AWS organizations. So essentially billing transfer, which we launched a reinvent, enables you to designate one management account to pay for the bill of a different set of management account. So what it does is enabling you to centralize your billing and cost management strategy across multiple AWS organizations. And really, ultimately, by creating these one-to-many financial relationships, enables you to model your AWS billing as it best align to your business structure. So that's a little bit of the overview of billing transfer. And, let's dive deeper. Any specific questions that you have?
Yeah. So who, like you mentioned, you said before, large organizations who maybe even partners can deal with this, but
Right.
who is the target audience for this kind of product solution?
Exactly. So first of all, anyone supporting multiple AWS organizations today. So any customer that is deciding to segregate their workloads across multiple AWS organizations is the target for this functionality. However, I would say that we have designed this functionality as with a primary audience in mind of AWS partners, so channel partners specifically who resell AWS services to their end customer. But again, this is just one of the example. If you are a large organization that is supporting multiple AWS organizations, multiple subsidiaries, or goes through merger and acquisition, acquiring new business units, that's exactly the feature for your needs if you intend to centralize your billing and cost management strategy within one single central place.
Okay, yeah. It seems this is similar to what we're saying, but like these are things we've been asking for a long time, and so really trying to again make this a simple thing. Brilliant. So let's go into a little bit of why this is important. Now, when we discussed in the episode, we had a long conversation about why this is so relevant and some little nuances around best practice of billing, which we kind of hinted to with Eric. But why do you feel like this is very important for customers to be able to do?
Yeah, so I think this is a critical functionality as for the first time, we're really decoupling the billing and cost management from the governance and security management within across multiple AWS organizations. So what that really means is that prior to billing transfer, customers who decided to support or needed to support multiple AWS organizations, they were also required to support a decentralized financial and billing management strategy. Now, customer can really choose to maintain separate governance, so allowing organization administrator to have full access on their accounts and maintaining a central view of their costs and maintaining a central single entry point to manage billing for AWS, manage payments for AWS. So that really kind of like breaks breaks a fundamental paradigm that it's no longer one AWS organization, one payer account. We take a step forward, and we're now enabling different payer accounts to transfer their billing across and designating their desired payer account to pay for their bill.
And this goes down to like the invoicing level as well, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. 100%. So the key difference here, and I want to highlight, how this is different from billing views. Billing views is it's a central component on how we can drive the centralized access to cost management data. But this is a step forward because it essentially drives the centralization of invoicing to a single payer account, which becomes responsible to pay for those charges. So that's the key difference. And essentially, if you think about that, it kind of like really boils down into solving tricky problems for customers. As we say, number one, no longer having to log in into different payer accounts to even retrieve the invoice, auditing, billing reconciliation. And so now you can do all of that centrally. You can also view cost management data across multiple AWS organizations, again, in one single account, so not having to log in into multiple accounts. And the other key functionality or key benefit, rather, of billing transfer is that by decoupling the governance and cost management from billing, it really enables a customer to no longer having to worry about protecting proprietary pricing data in order to provide full control of the root of the management account for security governance.
Right. So, yeah. This is one thing we talked about a little bit with Eric's one as well. But I love that point you made about the security, because it's again this thing of previously you'd have to give someone literal access to do it. But I also like the framing of it's their responsibility. So and just to clarify that, so if I have an account, I've set it up, and I spend 10 grand in it, and then I am going to send that to someone else, I'm going to forward that kind of, sorry, let's use the right term. I'm going to transfer that bill to another account. If they're the ones who is in charge of paying it, they manage it now. I don't need to do anything.
Correct. So when you spend when you use your AWS services, at that point, if your billing transfer is active, you are no longer receiving an AWS invoice, and you are transferring that AWS invoice to a different entity, to a different payer account who's in charge of paying for your consumption of AWS. And so that effectively is the account that is billed for your consumption.
Okay, so it's a very powerful thing to be able to do this. How does this connect to AWS Billing Conductor, ABC?
Great question. So billing transfer is integrated with Billing Conductor to enable that protection of proprietary data that we just discussed. So the idea is that once you are transferring your bill into what we call the bill transfer account, so it's the payer account that essentially is going to receive the bill of the account that is originating that consumption. So that account is also responsible and in charge to determine what cost and usage data you see into your account. So that is essentially a way of modeling your chargeback relationship with your internal business units or with your customers. And that's enabled through Billing Conductor.
Okay, interesting. And if anyone wants to learn more about Billing Conductor, or Richard can grab a link to the documentation on that to share it. Perfect. Any more context you want to give before we start getting into a bit more of a demo for this?
I think the demo will help kind of like bringing all of this to life.
Perfect. Oh, before we move on, actually, we've got some questions. We'll do this one now, actually, which is how can billing transfer contribute to cost optimization? Do you think it has a big connection to it, or is it more focused on the fundamental billing aspect? Well,
I definitely would say that it's more geared towards the billing aspect, is the billing simplification, but also, it has that ability of supporting FinOps strategies so that you have that centralized view and you can better and more easily have the visibility on your costs and set up the optimization strategy that you need for your company. But the
Excellent.
primary function is really that kind of like billing simplification aspect.
And one thing that's maybe people don't always think about is the people costs when it comes to cloud. So cost optimization is a broad term. Yes, it's not going to exactly save you money by doing the thing, but like Marina just said, before you'd have to log into all of the accounts, get all the invoices combined, like takes all of that management headache away and simplifies it. So when it comes to a FinOps practitioner, you suddenly should hopefully be gaining time because you've simplified, that lovely word, simplify, the process. Another question at the moment is just, can this process be applied for saving plan sharing, i.e. one payee account caters for all the savings plans on a multiple organization? I don't think so at the moment.
That's correct. So savings plans are bounded within a single AWS organization. So billing transfer, within a billing transfer, the account that is transferring away their bill is still making that commitment to purchase the savings plans to AWS. It's only delegating away their billing responsibility to a different account, a central account. So that's not something that it's enabled today, but we would love to hear more feedback about it. So yeah, please, if you have any interesting use case that you want to discuss,
Yeah, Kenneth,
exactly.
got my number, but you can email me. I know, Kenneth. So send us the feedback at cost optimization, amazon.com for sure. And this one is an example of Pete's asking, if I was he's a freelancer as other context. If I have a client, I make an organization and I can send my bill. So yeah, that is kind of maybe even a concept as if you have that and you could pass on that organizational work. That spend work to another organization, but they obviously have to accept it. Let me just check if any more questions came in. Perfect. Okie dokie. Right, let's get into okie dokie. It's funny I said that. Let's get into the demo.
Okay, great. So bear in mind, as I start walking you through the demo, there are two sets of accounts involved in a billing transfer. I know it sounds obvious, but it's good to remind. So we have the payer account that is transferring out their bill, which is originating their consumption. We call this account the bill source account. And then we have the account that is receiving the bill and is in charge of paying for that bill of another AWS organization. We call that account the bill transfer account. So I'm logged into my bill transfer account for this demo, for the start of this demo. So I'm going to show you how to start setting up billing transfer and a little bit of the fundamentals on how to leverage billing views to access the data across your different bill source organizations that are transferring the bill. So as you head over to the billing and cost management console, you'll see the billing transfer widget here. It kind of like explains at the high level how it works. We didn't mention this here, but it's an opt-in mechanism. It's a handshake. So the bill transfer invite will send that invite to the bill source payer account. And once that invite is accepted, the transfer will be active on the date specified into the invitation, which we are going to take a look in a second. So you see in my account, I have a couple of transfers that are already active here. So I have named these customer A, customer B. You can think of business units. You can think of your subsidiaries, for example. And these transfers are active as August. We're going to use these to see how the cost and usage data is available for these organizations. But let's dive into the setup. So if I want to set up a transfer, this is a very simple form, invitation form that will, you'll need to fill the name. You'll have to give it a very descriptive name. We can go for an example of customer C, and this will be the name that you will see in your billing views. So we're going to go into that in a second, but essentially when you are analyzing data and spend data for your customers, that's the name that is reflected in your billing view, which you can edit later, but that's an important point. You can set up.
And just to check, we talk about the handshake, just to clarify. So I would send it to a person that I would like to take their spend. So you put, it's a more of a pulling things in, not requesting things out, right?
You can, if I'm hearing you correctly, Steph, you can send invite to take over billing. You cannot send invite to transfer out, essentially.
Yeah. So for example, someone watching couldn't be like, I want Steph to pay my bill. Like that, it doesn't go that way.
Exactly.
Right?
It doesn't go that way.
Just want to check. Yeah.
Correct. You're spot on. It's the invite process is like unidirectional. So I can only send an invite if I'm taking over your bill, but you can't request me to take over your bill for clarity. And here is kind of like the interesting part that we discussed a little bit earlier with like billing conductor integration. So today you have two options. One option is to choose a billing conductor basic pricing plan. What essentially this is a gross of discounts pricing plan. It does not include any negotiated discounts, or in the context of like, reselling partner solution provider discounts. And these will be essentially used to drive and determine what the organization transferring the bill will see in their own accounts. Or you can choose an existing pricing plan in case you have it set up, or you can configure it where you can fully customize their spend data that the account will see in their own organization. Now, I think you probably will ask about pricing here. This option is free. So there is no charge for supplying public pricing view to your organization transferring out their bills. But there will be a charge starting as of June 1st of $50 per organizations when you customize the pricing that they see in their account, because maybe you have a managed fee that you have to charge to your subsidiaries for handling their bills. So that's really essentially what this is enabling for you. So once you've done that selection, you'll send it out, and that's as simple as it is. The other party will receive an an email notification to transfer the bill to your account. So once that's done, I guess we can go into the meaty part of like, how does billing transfer really leverage billing views to enable your cost and usage data visibility centrally for your multiple AWS organization. I'm going to first start selecting a more recent time frame here on Cost Explorer. So I'll just look at the cost for February. So what I'm seeing here by default is the cost in my own AWS organizations, right? So that's standard, what I'm consuming, and what also I'm paying AWS for my consumption. And when I toggle billing view on, and this is kind of like probably you understand the pattern based on what Eric showed earlier, you can view the different type of views that you have enabled through billing transfer. So we're reusing the same pattern. Yeah. But you can clearly understand which one are billing transfer views compared to which one are your custom views of the case. So here I have a couple of examples for both. But let's say I want to dive deeper and see the cost of my the usage and the cost that my customer A or my subsidiary is incurring. These are the costs reflected into my view, which is essentially representing what I have to pay AWS as the bill transfer account for their own consumption. And the key highlight that I want to make here is that, again, we looked at how billing conductor enables you to sanitize the cost and usage data that your subsidiaries, your customers view in their organization. Well, you can also centrally view what they view. And you can do that by switching your view into what we call the show back view. So it's essentially, which is kind of like still loading for some reasons, but
it's all good.
It's typically
the one that's the first one, the my view, that one shows both the primary view and the billing transfer, or just the billing transfer?
This is purely showing the cost of the organization that has transferred the bill away. If you want to see your own costs, you will toggle back to the primary view. So that's the key.
And then the key
Go ahead.
difference.
Sorry.
And
Yes.
then the one that's the show back, that's what's the difference between the billing transfer view and the billing transfer show back view?
If I'm hearing you correctly, Steph, you're asking what are the differences, correct?
Yeah.
So again, is like my view is what I'm paying AWS for the consumption of a different organization, and the showback view is what I'm charging my customers, what I'm charging back. Correct. So
I'm with you.
so that's what's happening there, and that's why it's we wanted to make it very easy for customers to have. Okay, now finally it's working. I don't know what happened there, but we wanted to make it very easy for customer to have that access to not only what they have to pay, but also what they're charging back. So
Okay.
here is, you can see the difference of what the customer is seeing in their own account. It would be the cost gross of any discounts, and what I'm paying AWS will be the cost net of any discounts that I'm receiving.
Okay, slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
and
to be mindful of this. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do that also, for example, on the bills page. So that's another very interesting, functionality. You can drill down into the bill for each of your subsidiaries, or again, customers, and do the granular analysis that you do today, but again, centrally within one single payer account. So I would just want to highlight here, for example, that's again the cost that I'm paying for this customer A to AWS. That's the cost that I'm charging. So you'll see the $21.56. If I go and show you what the customer is seeing, so I'm now logging into the different account that is transferring the bill out, they also see the $21.56 that we centrally see on the bill transfer. And again, that drives that transparency, so that I know centrally what I'm charging back for their AWS consumption. So going back to the bill transfer view, again, you can do these toggle on and off view to on the bills page. You can do it on Cost Explorer. We also support budgets. So Eric talked about this a little bit earlier, but budgets does not only support custom billing views, also support billing transfer views. So you can create a budget specifically on that, scoped on that data. And the key thing here is it's your own budget. It's your own resource. You're not pushing a budget on the end customer account. They would create their own budget, but you're monitoring their costs centrally.
Yeah, so that you can see if anything is happening, and it's like another line of kind of prevention and detection, which is great. A question on here, I'm not sure the answer to this one. Do credits work across organizations on this?
No, but similarly, I think that's another great point. Similarly to the question that we got before around savings plan sharing, the key call out that I want to make is that the billing boundary remain at the organization level. So if you are receiving credits on organization A and not on organization B, the credits will stay within your organization A and will not share or spill over to the other organization. And same thing for savings plans. So it really enables that kind of like ability to maintain a separate P&L but centralize the billing operations.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's more, you think about customization and credits and that stuff, that's in your own accounts, you manage that, that's your stuff. But if someone's paying the bill, that's like a different kind of concept.
That's correct. And so really the key is like you want to give autonomy to your subsidiaries, to your business unit to manage their own AWS environments, and they're just sending you the bill, so that essentially you have that access and you have that ability to monitor their spend, their ability to charge them back. And so that's pretty much the key benefit, really, like the autonomy aspect, and each organization still maintains their own their own billing boundary.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Brilliant. Thank you so much for the demo. I see a couple of comments and questions, or a couple of notes about some feedback with some requests and stuff like that. We haven't got much time left, so email costoptimization@amazon.com. Share with me any feedback you have about any of these billing tools, and I'll make sure to get it to the folks that we've spoken to today. Last kind of little bits. We talked about, I think we covered everything to do with the cost of the service. I think we have, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
essentially you have the free pricing plan, but if you want to customize, that will be incurring a charge.
Brilliant. And any other things people should know before they opt in, or any other things you want to shout out before we finish up?
There is extensive documentation that covers like how to manage your tax settings. So those are all important considerations that you have to make as as you're considering to opt in into billing transfer. So I strongly advise to take a look at and dive deeper on documentation to understand what are the steps that you need to take as you plan to onboard to this functionality.
Yeah, always check the tax things. There's nothing I
Yes.
know about and would not want to advise on it. So check wherever you are, then check the tax. Perfect. All right. With that, we will round up with our secret Richard summary. Richard is not AI, but he is listening and giving feedback and dropping some links in the chat. So let's do a bit of a summary. And I have not read this, so I get to read it. So billing views, the simplest solution is often the best, and custom billing views for account groups, even across payers. Amazing. Go and check out that feature if you have not already. Billing views, just generally go and utilize that, share those reports with other people. And then billing transfer, one billing account to rule them all. I love the drama. Multi-org billing management just got easier and more secure. Yes, simplify and keep it secure is what we want to highlight for that. Last couple of bits from me before we finish for today. Number one, if you haven't found me on Builder Center, head on over. This is where we put summaries of each of our episodes. So scan this QR code, follow me. You can find summaries of my shows and a bunch of different articles. I've started to write more articles on FinOps recently, so go on to that. If you haven't joined our LinkedIn page for the Customer Acceleration team, go and do that now. This is where we drop lots of interesting articles that our entire team posts, and want to make sure you stay up to date there. And finally, FinOps X, it's coming up, so make sure you get your tickets if you have not already. You'll see me there, hopefully doing some presentations. And with that, thank you so much to my lovely guests. I feel like I've learned so much about these awesome services, and I encourage you to go and try them out in your organizations. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all next week. Bye for now.